Hi everybody, and welcome back to the Hot Bites Fishing Report. I'm staying here on the south end of Manistee Lake in Manistee County, and coming to you this week we have 5 great reports. We're going to start very north in the Great White North in Marquette. We're going to move down to the Saginaw Bay and Saginaw River system out of Bay City and Linwood area where fishing is just starting to pick up. Then we're going to move down to Lake St. Clair, which we covered last week, but fishing's still phenomenal, so we feel like we have to do it again. Then we're going to go to the Lower Peninsula, the south central part of the state, where we're going to start talking about techniques for the February lull, like we like to call it here. And even though it's slow, you can still get those bites. And then we're going to come here to Manistee County. We're going to cover Manistee Lake, Portage Lake, and the Manistee River system, as these cold temps are going to start to break here pretty soon, but fishing's still been pretty good. Stay tuned. All right, so our first stop today on the Hot Bites Fishing Report for this week, we're gonna go start in Marquette, Michigan, where we're starting to target splake. Mike up there with Marquette Adventures is saying that splake are the most aggressive species that there is to have in swims in Lake Superior. Splake are a planted cross species between a brook trout and a lake trout. Splake swim at all depths of the water column. So having some kind of electronics, fish finder, flasher, or some kind of panoptics really can benefit you on these days, especially when it's cold and you don't want to move around as much. It really helps you pinpoint them. So as those fish are coming through the water column, they're typically are chasing some kind of minnow species. And so you're going to want baits that are going to represent a minnow of some sort or a smaller bait fish. These fish are amazing to eat, and we're going to tell you how to get them on your table. The best way to get these fish to bite and the best baits are going to be your Healy jigs, your Swedish pimples, and your single eggs, or a tip up with some kind of smaller bait fish, like what we like to call a perch minnow or a blue shiner. Those would work great for these very aggressive splake. So again, if you're using those tip ups, use them anywhere from a foot off bottom to even 3 foot, 4 foot off bottom, but keep them relatively close, because your jigs, you can target those fish in that water column anytime you'd like. If you're looking for more information while you're up in the Marquette area, or if you're looking to make a trip up there, get a hold of Mike for any kind of info, any kind of lively bait at his new bait shop. Call Marquette Adventures, get a hold of Mike, figure out how to get out there with him, or do it on your own. He'll give you great information. Again, use your electronics, move around, and if it's too cold to, make sure you can pinpoint those fish as they are going to go through the water column. Use tip ups to find active feeding fish and to get you that bonus fish on the ice.
Wyandotte Lure manufactures soft plastic baits and fishing tackle right here in the Detroit area. Our famous original Wyandotte worm and the new Motor City minnow are made with our own special blend of material that is soft enough for a fish to bite, but durable enough to use all day. Our baits are available in over 30 different fish catching colors. Just another reason why Wyandotte Lure is known as the king of the river. Go to WyandottLure.com or ask for them at your local bait and tackle store.
Our second stop today on the Hot Bites report is going to be Saginaw Bay and the Saginaw River system. Fishing remains very good in the Saginaw River system. There's been a lot of fish caught on jigging wraps tipped with a minnow. There's been a lot of sorting going on. You have to go through a lot of small fish to get your limit of your keeper size, so those 13s up. But it is a great time. There's plenty of fish in the system. Again, as I stated last week, and if you weren't here last week, go back and watch. But I'm saying that we have to move with those bigger schools of fish. So if you're getting shorts, so those 13 and under, and you're looking for those bigger fish, then move until you find those bigger fish. While I like to relate in schools of their same size, just like perch do. In the river system, your fire tiger and your blue and silver jigging wraps tipped with a minnow have been doing very good. And now a report that we're getting a lot of questions about and a lot of people are waiting to get out and do, the Saginaw Bay. Saginaw Bay is giving some great perch and walleye action in 2 to 20 foot of water. And if you can venture out safely to that 28 foot of water, that's been working out very well. as well. Jack spoons are working best for those perch, and simply everything is going for walleye. If you can navigate your way out there safely, and get across those sheets that have just moved in and just started making some really good ice, you're gonna find the walleye and you're gonna be successful. Everything's going. Again, don't be scared to move around. I know it's cold, but it is machine safe, but still use caution. There are some soft spots out there that there's been a couple reports of people going in and that are having to be rescued and pulling out sleds and quads. And we just want everyone to be safe when you're venturing out and to get on this bite. It's been very good. Your typical stuff like dew jiggers and your jigging wraps and ripping wraps, any kind of heavier spoon have all been working. So nothing custom really, just your whites, your blues, your typical Saginaw Bay staples. But again, we cannot express this enough. Be safe when you're traveling. There's been reports of 8 to 10 inches, and then 10 feet away, there's open pockets of water. So be safe, get out there on Saginaw Bay and the Saginaw River system, go get those perch, go get those walleye, and send us pictures, post pictures with us on the Hot Bites report. We'd love to see them. Fishing's just getting started over there as this cold snap is, not really coming to an end. It's still gonna be cold weather, but it's gonna be 28, 20 degrees and still single digits nights. So get out there and get a bounty on perch and walleye in Saginaw Bay.
Are you already thinking about summer? Thinking about that new boat or pontoon? Now's the time to get your best preseason deal during the Summer Dream Sale event going on at Lakeside Motorsports and Nelson Speed Shop. Order your dream boat now and be the first to get it on the water. Michigan's pontoon superstores, Lakeside Motorsports, and Nelson Speed Shop will help you design your dream boat. Come see the all-new state-of-the-art showroom and service facility at Lakeside Motorsports. Plus, Lakeside and Nelson's guarantee honest, fair, upfront pricing and no hidden fees. Your summer fun begins now.
So our third stop today is Lake St. Clair. I know we covered it last week, but it just simply has been that good. We just can't pass it up again. On Lake St. Clair, your canals are still producing great numbers of bluegill and crappies. Widowmaker, tungsten, and roadside minnow plastics have been the ticket. Can't express that enough. You really don't need live bait. It has been as simple as it comes for the most part. Again, there's been good ice, but use caution around docks and canals and stuff like that. Avoid those bigger groups of people and get to the outside. Pressured fish move. If it's in or out, deeper or shallow water, they will move if they feel too much pressure on top of them. They're not dumb. The key to this bite is really finding those deeper canals though right now. The shallower canals are becoming oxygen depleted, and so those fish are starting to move out. So find those deeper canals, do some research, do some checking before you go out even, and you'll be successful. Fishing on Lake St. Clair for perch has been nothing but phenomenal. Remains on fire all over Lake St. Clair, from Selfridge all the way to Fairhaven area. The best lures for that bite right now are Ken spoons and slab grabbers, in brass or silver two-tones with a chartreuse bead. It's truly been unbeatable. Finding weed beds in 5 to 7 foot of water has been the ticket. If you can find those weed beds, you're most likely going to find perch. And if you're on small schools of perch, move and find bigger schools of perch. And what I mean by bigger, not more fish, but bigger size. Take that time. You don't need to catch 100 in a day to get a limit. Just take your time, pick apart those schools that have bigger perch in them, and you will be successful, I promise. You just have to be willing to put in a little bit of extra time to move around and find those. A great way is using an app like Navionics or something like that to really pinpoint those humps and those weed beds. Very simple, or just use your graph from the summertime if that's something you're into fishing Lake St. Clair. Most of the lake is good to go on machines and everything else. But again, please use caution. We can't stress that enough. Use caution when you're traveling, trying to find these fish. Talk to local bait shops. talk to locals that you know, maybe a friend or something else like that. But again, weed beds for perch and deeper canals are the ticket this week.
Are you in the market for a new trailer? For all your trailer needs, big or small, visit Beck's Trailer Superstore on Highway 127 north of St. John's.
All right, for our fourth report this week, we are moving to the south central lower peninsula. So this is very common in in the southern central part of the state, where we go through what we call a February lull. The report we got, a lot of people explain it and like to say it's a lot like the October lull, or when it comes to deer hunting, where deer start to slow down. Fish also have times of year where they slow down, and we're going to call it the February lull. With that being said, this doesn't mean fish can't be caught. This just means you have to be willing to work a little bit harder, and those who are doing so are being rewarded. Be willing to move, be willing to search new areas, maybe get away from all the pressured lakes that you might fish and find something a little more secluded. But all you have to do really, even if you continue to fish those lakes that you really pound year round, be willing to switch up tactics. Change jig size from a 4mm to a 2.5 or maybe a 3, just depending on how deep water, stuff like that as well, because you still want to be effective and be able to feel a bite. And you want to target bigger fish still as well. So with that being said, also like a size 14 teardrop, this change will also do a lot for you. It changes your presentation, it changes your fall rate of your lure, where it can work in your water column, things like that. If all you do is fish these lures with live bait, maybe try plastics. Try something with a little buggier look on it that's going to have more extremities on it, so more legs, more tails. But also, vice versa, if you only fish live bait, or if you only fish plastics, switch to live bait. Try something more lively. Be willing to expand your knowledge and try different things. Live bait is a great thing to use this time of year, again, just because you're trying to entice that bite so much. Great idea this time of year, because fish can be so finicky. Try a spring bobber. If you're not used to a spring bobber, I recommend you put one on. Be willing to try different things when your typical normal tactics don't work. It doesn't mean just because they're not working, it means fish aren't biting. Be willing to adapt to what the fish are trying to tell you, and have a big network. Talk to other people and try to communicate on, okay, what's working for you? Or, hey, I'll try this one day, you can try that. Well, things of that sort of nature are great. I do it on a daily basis being a guide, and I recommend that you talk to locals, you talk to even people from out of town at a bait shop, or go to your local bait shop and communicate with people. I promise if you try these techniques, you will catch more fish. If you use a spring bobber, you'll detect more bites. Simple things in your day can change your day and can change your week when it comes to fishing during our February lull.
Every fishing boat needs a place to put rods, store rods, and have rod holders to go fishing, and the Anglerquest Family Fish has that in spades. I'm Captain Lance Valentine, and here on the Family Fish, I'm going to show you the integrated arch. We've got the ability to put up to 5 adjustable Trax Tech rod holders on each side so we can run offshore planer boards. We've got rod storage across the top, the ability to put in lights, radar, VHF radio antennas, and any accessories we need to turn this Family Fish into a hardcore fishing boat. Check out this and all the other great features on Anglerquest at your local Anglerquest dealer.
All right, sportsmen, our final report, our 5th and final report of our Hot Bites report this week is coming right here in Manistee County. Again, I'm staying on the south shore of Manistee Lake, down where the Little Manistee River dumps in. Manistee County has been experiencing some very cold temperatures, which has killed the fishing, but on the days it's warm enough to get out, or if you're brave enough, you can find fish if you're willing to put in the work. Ice fishing has been pretty quiet due to the past 2 weeks of cold temps in this polar vortex that we've been in. But again, if you're brave enough to get out and search, you'll find fish. We'll start is perch fishing. Perch fishing on Manistee Lake and Portage Lake are 2 bigger lakes in Manistee County. Perch fishing has been good, and you can find them in 25 to 50 foot of water. Healy jigs, slip bobbers, perch and crappie rigs, and heavier spoons have been very, very good in these areas. Again, use an app like Navionics or something to locate these areas, and you'll be successful. On those lures, we're tipping our hooks with wigglers, spikes, waxworms, and minnows. Plastics have really shut down for us just with the colder temps. You're really needing that live presentation to give those fish what they need to really entice that bite. If you're looking to target pike, and pike fishing has been very good, but again, it's been from 8 to 25 foot of water typically. And we're used to that this time of year. Just we start getting so much ice on these lakes, and those shallow bays like behind me start to get too much, and oxygen starts getting depleted, and those fish start to push out a little bit. And they'll start to move back in when spring starts to come and we start getting some warmer temps. But with all this snowfall, all these cold temps, those pike really start pushing out to that 8 to 25 foot. And again, that's where your perch and your crappie and bluegill are gonna sit, which is their main forage this time of year. So to end this report, we're gonna finish up on the Manistee River system. Deeper runs have been holding plenty of steelhead. We didn't really get our big push this year in the fall and winter due to not enough rainfall and things like that. And Lake Michigan was so warm for so long. So those deeper runs with slow walking speed water with not a lot of turbulence on top have really been holding a lot of steelhead. Jigs and beads and spawn underneath the float have all been working. But out of those three, jigs have really been the #1 producer by far that I've seen on my guided trips or just out fishing with buddies. The color for jigs right now doesn't really matter as long as it has 2 waxworms on it. It's been producing pretty well for us. Another technique you can use on these cold days when you're just tired of sitting in the house and you just want to get out, another technique is plugging. Back plugging or pulling plugs, some people will call it, where you just get into a stretch or a hole and you can work them down, or you can just sit in the middle or top or bottom of the hole, depending where you see fish are laying that day. But colors for plugs right now have been green, gold, and blues from everything that I've seen. Now again, these fish are in the system. There's plenty of them to be caught. It's just if you're willing to get out and put in the work, ice fishing or in the river, to go out and have a good day. You got to be willing to move. You got to be willing to adventure a little bit. I know we're all probably getting a little stir crazy sitting in the house, but it's time to get out. There's fish being caught and there's fish to be had. So from Manistee County, we thank you. If you're looking for a guided trip, feel free to get a hold of me, Captain Alex at Fireplug Charters. Well, those are our 5 reports for today for the Hot Bites Fishing Report. From all of us here at Great Lakes Fisherman's Digest, please continue to follow our reports. We do them weekly. Again, I know we're all getting stir crazy. Again, I'm in Manistee County. It's been bitter cold here, like I know the entire state's been. Be willing to get outside and put that time in. The February lull, don't let it scare you. There's fish to be caught anywhere in the state. Be willing to travel, be willing to move. If you're going to a new place, use caution, call your local bait shops. But those are our 5 reports today. Leave a comment and let us know what you think. If you have pictures, post them. We'd love to see them. So from all of us here,